Hello,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. Everything's alright. Oh, well, I think we can start with going over the form first. I remember some stuff from there, but if you want to elaborate, maybe mention anything else what you didn't say during our conversation or just during the class, I guess, then let me know. But yeah, so far,
Um,
what we wanted to go over has been a Namor for the most part, right? At least today, right?
yeah, I am nowhere to start, I guess.
Mhm.
Uh, I've just been playing yesterday, last few days, and made it to Grandmaster now.
Oh, that's pretty
Uh,
impressive. Nice.
Thank you. I think I've only played like maybe 26 hours this season,
Hmm.
but I'm trying to grind up maybe top 500 Eternity.
Yes, exactly.
Esports is definitely my goal. Play for a professional team entering tournaments.
Yes.
Very career oriented, but gameplay wise, I would like you to take it from there. I don't know what to work on.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I think we can start with fundamentals first. And since your goal is more of a long term, join the team, make sure you have the presence in tournaments, yeah, you play in the team. I think it's always good to start with grinding a little bit more. If you can grind the highest rank possible, ideally, top 500 and even higher towards top 200, 100, that would be the best because then that is where you get noticed by other people. They invite you to the teams, and then we can start from there. You can build the skills within the team. Basically, it can be the planning, communication, all that stuff, which is important, but it's less relevant compared to the performance, if that makes sense. So yeah, then
Definitely.
that is something we can start with. There are definitely some organizations. Also, I know some people from the teams as well. Back in the days, have been grinding a lot of Overwatch. It's been as a not only as a coach, but just as a player in general too. I've been in top 10. There's been my highest rank there, and just been playing in team too. So I guess I know how a lot of that stuff works and can give you some sort of insight. There are a lot of players and more rivals from Overwatch, actually. So that's pretty
That's
good.
really great to hear.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
can I ask, how is your experience getting top 10?
How is my experience? Well, depending on what do you mean. So, what are you interested?
I,
What are you
I guess
interested in?
like maybe the amount of hours or where's your focus
Yeah,
on getting there?
yeah, the amount of hours definitely should be pretty big. It's basically becomes like your job at this point if you trying to be at the highest level usually. And that's where the
Definitely.
players are definitely if unless you don't make the team or you just maybe if you have a lot of time then maybe sure you can also be at the highest level, but usually because you just playing a lot of hours, you at the top 10 makes sense to just participate in tournaments, get some of the advantages of that there too. Maybe win some events yet, and you get a prize pool and everything. This is really good if you want to do it as a player. That's why I wanted to ask you actually, what's your playtime currently per week, maybe each day? How many hours you invest?
I could currently it's fairly low. I think I play maybe 4 to 6 hours each day. Yesterday I put in maybe 12 hours.
Mm-hmm. 4 to 6 hours each day. Well, to be honest, it's okay. So 4 hours, let's say the minimum. If we play like 5 days, let's say without the weekends, it's 20 hours. Well, definitely you can play in weekends too. But yeah, if this is the amount of practice you get, I think this is nice. Just make sure that the quality of hours is also solved. So what I usually recommend is you don't want to play all the time just for the sake of playing, but you rather want to play during the time when you're actively focused, so you can put in the practice, you can just effectively learn something. So as long as those are effective hours, it's good. Let's say you still have time to play, then maybe you can play, but then do it. Maybe I usually recommend, if people just still want to play, you maybe can do it on another account, or maybe you can practice something else. Yeah, but it's really important so you're not draining a lot of resources, because a lot of the top players actually, they end up losing more because they just playing and they always stay trying to stay actively focused. So I would say just around at max 4 hours of active practice each day is okay. And as long as you can do that in a way where you don't have these days where you just invest a lot of hours, then suddenly you skip the day. Yeah, if it's consistent, this is always better. So it's just like a routine, and you exactly prepared for the for those hours. Yeah, maybe for example, for me, generally speaking, it was that when I was playing, it was in evenings. So in evenings, I tend to get more focus. We also have scrims. We also practicing different stuff, doing what reviews as a team. So those hours been more effective for me. Yeah. So you kind of establishing your own routine there too. So yeah, that does make sense in terms of the hours, how you want to approach it.
100%. I find those hours for me are usually through the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the teams also want to work more together in the mornings, rather
Well,
than as like schools start to get out, or maybe some people are off work just queuing.
well, it's usual interpretations. I would say that if you interpret it this way,
Yeah,
it helps. Then this is fine. But to be honest, there's no difference usually. It's just the way the mind works. Some people they would say, yeah, you know, you don't want to play weekends. You don't want to play during I don't know Fridays. All of that is, to be honest, it's like conspiracy theory. it's
definitely.
it's not true. It's not true. Even though sometimes people, because they believe that, they interpret that in a way that this is how it works, so they set their mind to it and they play not as good. They start to noticing some of their team's mistakes during, let's say, during the evenings versus the mornings. Yeah, because they know, they interpret that, well, in the evenings people are really bad, so they start noticing the things. But they could be doing the same in morning
Right.
too, and it's just, yeah, it's just. But this is important to know. Anyway, it's just important to know what are the hours, what is your routine looking like, which is effective to you, so you can stick to it basically, and it should be alright in the long term. Okay, so active hours. If you're playing like more than 4 hours, then I recommend do something. I'd say you still want to play. If you want to play more, I'm just gonna write it down for us in the summary too. You can play on maybe other account, maybe practice, maybe even play with your friends sometimes just to have fun is also okay. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're not getting burned out like a lot of players do, because they just play all the time at the highest level especially.
Right.
It's usually more of a problem, yeah, not with the lower rank. Currently you're going towards the high rank, so I think it's pretty important to address. Okay. Did you have experience in Overwatch actually, or any kind of similar
Uh,
games?
I played Overwatch when I was younger. I don't even know what age, maybe I was 14, I'm 20 years old now. But played Overwatch. I played a lot of Hanzo, Tracer. Uh, I don't even know who else, but I did play them.
Yeah, that's fine. So you mainly been DPS role there as well.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, all of that is good because a lot of the fundamentals from those games, especially Overwatch, it can translate to this game as well. So it's all good to know. Okay, now we went from Diamond 3 to GM actually, and yeah, what do you think helped out you the most to reach the rank?
oof. Paying more attention to utility use,
Mhm.
like watching ultimates, maybe positioning, or just playing more together as a team.
What have you done
But
so
then
far with
maybe
positioning? Sorry to interrupt. Mhm.
no problem. Positioning. Uh, Off angles has been a bit of an issue to find and get into as much, especially when they're playing dive characters. I feel like I need to be within my team, helping to take those out.
Mhm.
Typically I'll sit probably just in front of my healers. Sometimes I'll play up with tanks when I need to get squids maybe thrown behind the enemy team, or just on certain angles higher up to set up the car wash.
Yeah, that's what we talked about in the masterclass. Yeah, how you find it so far? Is it been more successful with the squid placement, or what do you think?
Extremely.
Nice, that's really good to hear too. Yeah, well, it's just been one of the things we focused on there. We can definitely start with probably positioning would be good to start with, especially based on what you said today and before, and in that Google Doc as well. And then later we can maybe go over the other stuff. Just do it step by step, basically, because it's not possible to work on everything at once. So it's good.
Right.
It's good to start with something first. Okay, I think all of that makes sense. And is there anything else what do you want to mention before we start?
Um, Filled healer a couple games
Mhm.
playing Rocket, and that turned out pretty well. I have many issues there.
Right, so you think
Other
you...
than that, I've
Yeah, continue.
started playing like maybe hit scan for flyers, like Punisher, little Hella. I don't know. It's just been kind of figuring out different team compositions and what works and when.
Hmm, makes sense.
And
Makes sense too. Mhm.
certain objectives like convoy and convergence, I seem to do really well at. But then domination, not so much.
Okay, we can take a look. Yeah, all of that is good to know. One thing I want to say is whenever you play, whenever you're trying to adapt based on the comps, maybe your versus the enemy comp, usually make sure you're still able to do that within your hero pool, ideally. Even though the compositions might be not the most not the best looking, let's put it this way. Ideally, want to get as many hours as possible on the characters you have, because there is one of the best ways for us to learn all the macros. You learn all the things, then you're able to climb higher. Obviously, there are gonna be times where you can fail, maybe. Just make sure to understand why you do that. Yeah, is it because you really think, oh, like this is the character which is gonna change the situation? Yeah, is it really? Yeah, if because a lot of times players tend to just fall into this trap of switching a little bit too much. That's what I want to say, and then they end up not practicing their actual characters they want to be playing in the learn time. So be careful of that. I think as long as there's like 80% of your time on the main characters you have, I think it should be okay-ish. And then obviously knowing when to swap. Just based on the comp, your comp, the enemy comp. That is something what we can go over as well later on, of course. But yeah,
Sounds good.
can you see the stream, by the way? Is it working?
Uh, yeah, it's working.
Okay, perfect. And do we want to start with this game, or do you have any other to start with?
Uh, it's kind of been difficult to get a really good game, I think, to VOD review,
Mhm.
just because of I'm either like dominating the match or I just feel like there's a lot of throwers that are just ulting in spawn or leaving
Hmm.
on my losses.
Oh, well, this can happen. This can happen. Well, what matters the most is what do we do? At the end of the day, if you build the skill set of top 100, top 500 player, you gonna climb inevitably. So this is what matters to us.
Right.
Just make sure that we have all the fundamentals down, all the things down. Okay, let's start with this here, and I just want to hear your thought process. Maybe is there anything in specific you're thinking about before the match starts? Maybe you see this comp, you see this map. What are the general thoughts?
First thought coming out of spawn is getting to the objective to where I can start setting up squids to deny their first push.
Hmm. And
And
continue.
just ultimately like playing safe, kind of getting the flow of the match. Trying to watch for dive.
Okay, okay. And how do
I
you
think
use?
that's kind of it.
And is there any? Well, you kind of mentioned the car wash, so yeah, I guess that's what you'd be looking for, just with setting up the squids, making sure those are separately. What about your position? What are you looking for in general?
I feel like I'm looking to play. I feel like it also changes very much within the match. But I'm looking to play high ground if I can get there, and I feel like it'll be stronger
Mhm.
than rather like holding a corner or just playing within my healers.
Okay, okay, makes sense. Let's see how this plays out, and we can talk about a few things. Okay, so we start off, like I said, just establishing pressure on the point. That's okay. Just running towards here. Damage, sure, you gotta pick. That's nice. So you have an extra tempo. You can definitely set up a little bit more pressure this way. Okay, squids, fine. Especially the denied dive, not bad sometimes if you can place them at the backline, but there's a lot of anticipation should be done. Okay, let's keep watching. The first fight went relatively well. Okay, so we're starting here. There's maybe not too many angles for us to take, but okay, I think that would be good to start with, and I remember our previous replay too, what we went over with you. You asked about your positioning in general. So the first idea you want to start with is you want to look at the character and understand what effective range you want to use. Yeah, just make sure you use as effective range as possible while taking the best angle possible. So with the Namor, the idea a lot of times is that you can take long range angles because of just how much poke it can do. Obviously, you can go towards the
Right.
mid range depending on the situation because a lot of the maps, for example, this map here, there are a lot of enclosed spaces. So most likely you'll be not exactly too long range. You will be more of a mid range, but that's fine. What I want you to think about when you're looking for the best angle possible, so I'm gonna write it down. Yeah, angles. Okay, angle, taking angles. You need some sort of long and sharp sightline. Okay, I will give you an example. Let's say you're trying to control this area here. Okay, so we're gonna be, yeah, basically, let's just do it this way. We're gonna be controlling this entire space. You have your team coming from this main door. Yeah, let's call it position A, for example. Okay, and the enemy team is at position B. This is usually relatively fine, maybe especially if you guys have tempo, but the generalities are, especially if there's no advantage, like you don't have tempo, that's what I usually call that. Yeah, whoever has tempo, they have an advantage. Now, when the real fight starts, you want to be taking as sharp angle as possible because this diverts an enemy attention and you're able to get around their defensive abilities too. And yes, you want to get support from your team as well, but because you're controlling the map better, you're controlling this area better, it makes it hard for the enemy team to walk. So one example of the long range angle can be, let's say if I'm at this doorway. Okay, you can maybe relatively well. You can still escape from here. You can get in line of sight of your supports. Just make sure you're ready to rotate. Yep, just because they are also some sort of divers. Maybe if there's some sort of divers on their team, like maybe there's Spider-Man, maybe there's gonna be Black Panther. We saw them as well. Potentially they can dive you, and in here is just the area we can think about when you're controlling the space. This is just one example, okay? Let's just go back and maybe think about our first fight right away, is there opportunities? Is there opportunity for you to take that sharper, longer sideline right away? What is that position you could be leaning towards going forward? What are your thoughts while looking at this objective here?
I feel like I could play above,
That's possible.
having the most range. Maybe this door on the left.
Somewhere over here? Like this side?
Yeah.
Maybe. If you would compare, let's say you play here versus this angle, which one it feels better in terms of the sharpness, in terms of the distance?
I think this one here
Yeah, it's just, and you will see
could be
that
better.
on any map. The idea is gonna be exactly try to control as much open space as possible, because you do take this sharp angles. I have, this might be a problem when you take this high ground right away, right? Because a lot of the time shift when you unify it can be used as defensive cooldown. So yeah, you want to be careful when you take it right away. Yeah, I think the only way you can do that as fast as possible by using that first, your defensive one. Yeah, that going up with the shift. Yeah, you're playing on PC, right? It's not console. Yeah. So all the when I say shift, it should make sense to you. Yeah, it's your bubble. Okay. Now, when you have time before the fight, then maybe you can use it to set up. That's what a lot of the players do, I think. But to start with, I definitely want you to think about how do you lean towards the long sideline. So instead of you doing this, where you walk forward right away, and you start at the okay long range position, right? You just need to make sure you rotate in the best way. Instead of doing this, where you walk forward, you can always find the sharpest angles possible while maintaining cover. So even here, you can think about rotating this way, because the enemy is going to be hiding around the wall here. They came out of here. So they're more likely to have the defensive rotation, which leads towards the spawn. That's what I want you to try to choose and deny as much as possible. So just compare this position here, where there's not a sharp sideline. They can hide instantly by going towards the left. And here, if they go towards the left, then there's more chance you hit them. If they go towards the right, then they're stuck. Yeah, they don't have defensive rotation, so you can push them afterwards. This is the main point of the sharp sideline like that. You just constantly pressure on that sharp sideline, make their life really hard, really hard. Okay? Doesn't make
I
sense.
feel like that's been a big issue while I've been playing, is taking that sharp sight line.
Yeah, and this is just one part of it. I can show you good example. Maybe I think there's some good Namors doing that. They're taking pretty good sharp sightlines, and you usually notice that because we talked about the off angles. I think there was first review. It's gonna be exactly the off angle as well. It's gonna be exactly position to the side of your team, and you just controlling the map better, right? But you're not as exposed. You're still able to do your own pressure too. So I will give you this example. Let's watch this one. This player is pretty good. They at the top 500 layer, the top 500 category right now, and we can just use their game as an example. They're really good at just constantly using the sharp sightlines, the long range sightlines. You will see that there's going to be constantly something they can choose. For example, here. Oh, by the way, one more additional thing. If you're in a good position, it's easier for you to set up squids. You know how the squids work. They go like this, right? But there's a reason why it's also better for you to exactly play an off angle, because it's easier to set up the squids, right? It's just so easy to put it on a wall this way. And instead of being down. But yeah, anyway, you see, there's the sharpest sideline possible, the longest range sideline possible, so able to have the uptime, do damage instantly, 6% of ult charge, and our Hulk gets 5. They have 0. Almost everyone has 0. And this is your upside. Like, this is really good advantage you can take of it, because you have this long range capabilities to just farm your ultimate all the time, and poke the enemy down. Whatever character has the long range capabilities, you want to shoot as much as possible. That's where those long sightlines, they allow you to do that. Exactly. Okay, let's just keep playing. And we'll see them even rotating later on. Obviously, want to try to choose as the best angle possible, yeah, and they're always trying to rotate, deny the space. Let's say enemy goes right, our team is on the main, okay, I can maybe choose the sharp sideline, go on the left a little bit, so that makes it harder for them to go on the right. After that, maybe there's no good off angle to take, maybe you can play a little bit on the main, but still, the idea is I'm trying to choose a sharper sideline, the longest sideline possible, and then we can set up afterwards. It's just right now they can't set up because if they use shift, then most likely they might be dead because they're in the active brawl stage right now. If you can do that, if you can use the shift before the fight, then it's fine though. You know, you will see that later. The fight develops, they kind of on the main, but then after that, they actually using that as defensive and setting up. As soon as there's an opportunity. Again, sharpest sideline possible, kind of mid to long range sideline, while my team is somewhere in the main, right? We still can pick our support, we still can do stuff from there, but it just becomes pretty oppressive. Yep, they get in boop, that's fine. That is partially what you're gonna be doing a lot. You're just diverting the enemy attention all the time. Okay, yeah, does this example make sense, or any questions?
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, yeah, let's keep
Feel like
watching.
kind of rotating. Like if enemy's moving maybe more right, I should maybe take more of the left side.
Mhm.
Or if they're moving more left, I could take more right.
Exactly.
Or like sharper angles.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be the main point of that. It's just on any long-range character. A lot of the people, they make this mistake, they walk forward. In your case, you literally go on the right side, you open up so many opportunities to shoot the backline, and there are gonna be less opportunities for the enemy to block your shots. Yeah, it's just gonna be harder. And you're still shooting the backline anyway. See, they escaping, right? They just exactly going towards the left wall. Imagine you're on the right side right now. It's gonna be better. I like denying the dead. That's fine. Maybe you recognize I can get a quick kill on them, Spider-Man. Maybe there's Black Panther, pretty common at the competitive now. You can maybe deny that if there's a quick kill opportunity, but open up the angle first. Like, open up now. How much uptime we have? Open up here, break the wall, open up, shoot, farm the ultimate. Constant uptime. You can separate those both concepts, but they kind of go alongside together. Uptime together with a sharp sideline. It just makes it easier. And yes, you also need to set up squids too. It's just if you already good at that stuff, like this squid is definitely not bad, right? They peeking this angle here, that makes it really annoying. It's some sort of wall, and while we are at the angle, this makes it even better, I think. It's definitely harder when you don't have verticality on the map, because squids go kind of down with the there's not you can't throw them too far, but if you're on the high ground you can definitely stick that a little bit further away, because how the curve works, it goes down, and then maybe you can put it on the wall. Alright, so far okay pressure though. Squids are fine, I think. The only thing is probably even thinking about just setting up before the fight on the high ground, maybe can be okay, but I think this map is just a little bit complicated. When you're on this high ground here, it might be separated. It's only when maybe they are over here you can start at this angle, but then after that I think you can always think about dropping and just use the sidelines around the point. Let's see, where are we going? Yeah, sure. Have to stabilize at this point a little bit, because they have the tempo. Okay, just waiting. Yeah, you have your ultimate. Let's see how is that gonna go.
Ultimate is something I've also been working on.
Yeah.
Getting better use of it.
So what do you think about now? What are your options? What is that long range sideline? Maybe is it possible for you to take one? Or do you want to make your way through here first? Yeah, what do you think?
I think could either go, I feel like right would be the best angle here. Maybe put pressure to back him off point a little bit so my team could push up.
Yeah, actually, I think this is not
Especially
bad.
with the health pack.
possible. Just be careful with the timing. That's gonna be one of the most challenging things. If you go on an angle like this, most likely you will be contested, especially by Spider-Mans. Maybe there's gonna be Jeff. But as long as you have your cooldowns ready and you synchronize with your team, it's gonna be alright. Just make sure you constantly using your resources as a leverage, which allows you to take those angles. You don't want to use them right away. You want to have them, and even your ultimate can allow you to stay in the angle. Maybe you can quickly get a kill on someone. Let's say they're pushing you. It's going to be much easier, right? Now just kind of poking from the main, which can be okay sometimes. Maybe if there are no options for you to take along sideline. That a lot of the times it's not gonna be as safe too. It's a bit unfortunate, especially after we use shift, when you get stuck and at the main just together with everybody, because there's just so much pressure. Yeah, and this stuff can happen too. It's just random. There's a lot of stuff happening. Your Jeff eats you while maybe they're trying to save as well, but you know, it's pretty. It's pretty good if you own the angle still distracting the enemy, maybe while your team is doing the job. Okay, here. Same stuff, right? Just open up the angle. Open up, go right side, probably. You know, it's because there's, I think the map is changing here. I'm not sure. Maybe you can. Yeah, this one definitely looks not bad, I think. Yeah, if you just not using this doorway, but even go here. You can just start doing some sort of pressure before the fight this way, and then after that, once they make it through, maybe it
Even
will
for
be.
that doorway, Spider-Man was sitting. I could shoot through.
Yeah, it's always good against the divers. It's not that you have to deny the dive once they dive you. It's always good if you're able to poke them before the fight as well, and this way, because you're controlling those open spaces, low range spaces, just so much easier for you to constantly poke them, and you make them use mobility. Like Spider-Man's gonna use the swing, okay? That then makes it easier for you to do stuff afterwards, I think. But now we kind of this choke, and now there's not a sharp angle too. The squids is fine. You maybe can set up squids and then go on the angle after. But yeah, make sure you're not stuck on the main all the time. Yeah, like squids separately also good. Maybe place one squid here, go on the angle, maybe have another, I don't know, another squid somewhere else too. Like it can be kind of similar to this one. Not sure. Well, if you can make it to this wall, for example, maybe it can be interesting once they're making the push. So here, but yeah, this is something you can always experiment with anyway. As long as you have the squids separate and you fight for the same space, kind of like that car wash idea, I think it's fine.
Right.
Okay, damaging, sure, and there's one more idea, I think, which can be good, is when you're trying to exactly play those on sidelines, sharp sidelines, I think just to remain the uptime, it's not only a constant damage, but I want you to try to move from angle to angle. So you kind of moving on the lane, which you set up to control. For example, we have this main lane here. There's gonna be left side lane here, and there's a right side lane, in a way. Yeah, just so every map you can sort of separate on 3 lanes. One lane is usually the middle one, is gonna be where the objective is, and the side lanes, they're gonna be to the sides of the objective. So you try to choose the lane, which allows you to have the sharpest side line possible all the time, and while you're moving on the lane, it's just more consistent pressure. Let's say I went here, A, and then I went here, B later. Let's say the enemy team have the tempo, they start pushing, then I go towards the C. So it's also just keep moving on the lane, yeah, instead of just moving on towards the main here. A good example can be this player, by the way. We just watched their fight. Let's just go back. They started exactly, I think even at the first one here, yeah? They started on the right side lane, and the main lane is over here. And this is gonna be the best lane possible for them to have the sharp sideline. After that, maybe, if it's needed, they can even move towards another lane on the left side. But they're constantly rotating on the lane and not just going towards the main unless this is necessary. If really maybe there's no other choice, then maybe you can go. But as much as possible, I'm trying to maintain those sides a little bit, so I have this constant opportunity to poke. Okay, if the enemy is on the left, this is good to hold the right lane. If the enemy is on the right, now it's big to hold the left lane because they're trying to hide on the right side. Yeah, and just constant fire. They're really good at this stuff. Even under pressure, yeah, when they're under pressure, they again go back to the lane, trying to maintain this left side. It's gonna be probably the best one to maintain. If the enemy make it through the corner, then this here is not gonna be as good. It's probably gonna be better. Yeah, actually, what do you think? If the enemy is gonna make it through this corner here, what do you think is the best lane to take after? The best position, potentially.
I think playing upper right.
Yeah,
I believe
exactly.
you can sit
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
where,
if you
like,
can get
where the
there.
convoy is going to push.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate they don't have their shift currently, so it's gonna be pretty tough. But at least we can choose the angle somewhere in the back there. Maybe you can go back on the lane here later on. But I think once this card makes the turn around the corner, yeah, we're just trying to open up somehow. Yeah, they exactly go towards this area on the back. It's gonna be a mid-range sideline, yeah, not exactly too long range. They now the enemy team is making even more progress, so this might be okay. Yeah, just you always want to look at the tempo and know how do you gonna move. Yeah, if you would have time, then maybe setting up there would be good. Just keep that in mind because all these concepts, it's dynamic. It's not only about that good spot to hold all the time, right? And now it's just because they make the push here, that's okay. The sideline can be okay. Later on, if they make the push to the left, you can go towards the right, most likely. Yeah, and they exactly do that. They have the tempo. They're actually on the main now. This is usually good, especially if you have a big advantage. But as soon as possible, once we have time, we can set up our own. Yeah, they're gonna be setting up on the angle again. You just go sharp sideline. We have that. We don't have an advantage when we need to establish it. So I wanna keep playing somewhere over here, like on that high ground. Okay, this can be a good example of the lane control. Do you have any questions so far about anything? Or we keep watching?
I don't have any questions. This is all very good knowledge to have.
Okay, let's keep watching. Okay, nice dodge. That's good. Yeah, I think this helps a lot too, if you're able to just track their cooldowns, what they have in the ultimates too. Yeah, this is what I mean. If they have AoE stuff, you're gonna be more exposed to it. By the way, even with Doctor Strange, the play is not necessary to do the shift if you're on the side already, somewhere on your lane, because the Doctor Strange, they have to make a choice to either go towards your team or go towards you on B. Right, so if they do that, you have shift, fine, good dodge, yeah, good reaction, good anticipation, maybe. This also helps. But when you start together with your team, any AoE stuff usually gonna hit you more and more, because this Namor ultimate is AoE, for example. They're gonna be hitting you, the rest of your team, but because you're somewhere else, the enemy team have a dilemma. They have to deal with one of the angles. They have to either push you or push someone on the main, so make their life harder, exactly, by moving. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is when we rejoin the fight. It's definitely slow for the Namor to make it back to the fight, but yeah, it's okay.
I try and walk as in a straight line as possible just to get there fast.
Yeah, this is fine. Well, you have big advantage at this point too, so maybe it makes sense to push the main two, but afterwards probably set up on the right side again. Yeah, this is good. This is a good sideline here. We can have great uptime. That's what I mean. I don't think this is necessary. You see, you're kind of walking forward, right? I mean, yeah, sure. Get to the Strange while he's shielding, maybe. You can try to melee him. But there are also other people, so you might be under pressure as well. So I'm thinking somehow open up the angle. So maybe go left, maybe, oh, sorry, right, or maybe try to... Yeah, I think just going to the right side eventually, still keeping there is gonna be okay. Probably just deleting their backline. So this is not making it harder for you. Okay. Yeah, other than that, you guys making good progress. I like the turret placement. This is good. Definitely good progress too. And also, just, yeah, mechanically, it's fine. Mechanics all good. I think we... yeah, also, the like I mentioned, because you're able to anticipate, I think this always helps out too. But once you're on the angle, I think this will help you even more because you're probably gonna be targeted more when you're on the angles. That's what usually happens. But because you know how to manage your abilities, you using them as leverage to stay there, to stay somewhere, then it helps out a lot. You just can anticipate who's gonna dive you. They have Spider-Man, maybe they have Moon Knight to go on you. Okay, you can all prepare for that. Alright, let's see this point. It's gonna be interesting. So based on what you said, what do you think? This rotation here, do you have time to get by the sideline? Should it be going somewhere else? What are your thoughts?
Like I could play up in the window behind me,
This is,
following,
yeah.
I guess, right lane.
Yeah, this is not bad. What do you think if you use your shift to literally get in the position? Do you have enough time to use the shift and get it back? What do you think?
Mm, I I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
It could be potentially. I don't think so.
Yeah, I
But
would say so too. This is usually what happens on those maps where you have the control over the objective, where both teams are going towards each other, like this kind of maps here. Usually don't have enough time to use your shift before the fight to set up. So it's okay to just open up the angle, and maybe if you gonna get pressured, then eventually you can set up. Let's say I don't know, I'm on the right side, or like here, I'm gonna get pressured by Spider-Man. You drop, you go back with the shift again, and stay here. And this is how it can usually go. On escort maps, maybe, for example, where you need to push the cart all the way through, then I think you have more time. Yeah, there are definitely more maps where you have some time, maybe. But in here, especially during the first fight, I think it's okay if you hold your ability. Just keep that in mind that, and maybe versus certain compositions as well, sometimes it's not a bad idea to use your shift first. Because let's say they don't have any divers. Maybe even against the just on this objective, on this point, it might be not bad idea. This is something what you wanna experiment with and see how it works. But definitely don't neglect the shift, what it can do. Like we saw that good
right.
example, Bedtime Story, yeah, they just also using their shift a lot to set up. Well, it's all going together with being like defensive when somebody goes on them, but something to keep in mind too. And now it feels kind of in the choke here. Yeah, I definitely prefer us going somewhere. It's either right or left. I think this is always gonna be ending up better. Probably the more open space you have, the better it is for you. So you're able to poke the enemy before the fight. Well, the right side actually not too bad too. If you don't have that choice for whatever reason, this left is also can be okay. But yeah, choose any of those. Definitely not just the main here.
I
So,
thought to stick a little bit more to the right was
yeah,
because I saw Spider-Man and I thought he was going to try and pull off the map.
yeah. No, I think it's good to poke them. I think it's good. So make sure you keep moving on the lane. Yeah, like here, for example, you can use the defensive. Go back on the lane here, right? You don't have to just drop to main. You can keep playing here. By the way, this one is easy to destroy too, potentially. It's something what's going to be really beneficial. I don't know, a lot of people don't shoot that thing for whatever reason, but they have an advantage because of the ultimate. Now, you can destroy that. It's easier for you. And also, just controlling this entire space, right? Use your shift
Right.
to set up you if it's allowing you to, right?
Positioning, like coming back into this game like 3 seasons later, has definitely been the hardest part.
Oh yeah, well,
Because I'm like so not used to, I guess, the map design and knowing where I could be, which I think playtime will help with that, but also now with what you're teaching me here, I'm definitely going to be actively looking for it.
exactly, exactly. It's just the more you do that, the easier it's gonna be for you to know what is the best sideline to take. I think it's just to implement certain principle. You go on the different maps and see what works, what not. That's why this is good, big advantage of just like fundamentals. You can apply them anyway. You don't have to know the perfect spots. You can figure those out by yourself. Obviously, if there are gonna be any questions based on the map, maybe you wanna send me some question, maybe with a timestamp. Then I can look at it and we can think about what is the best sideline for you to take. But usually, you can figure out a lot of stuff on your own if you know the general principles. Always makes it easy. And you see, kind of because you went back here, it's just always gonna be some sort of downtime too. I think if we kept rotating, maybe you even go all this way after the enemy team pushes you. This is still a long sideline. You keep rotating, go back on the lane. You have constant damage, damage, damage. You would already have your ultimate probably, and then because you do, it makes it easy for you to reestablish the control over the objective. Yeah, you can set up the squids as well. Makes it easy when you're somewhere up to. It's actually not bad range as well. Like by looking, yeah, it's actually not bad too. I think the range of the squids is especially when you go up. I think you can sow them pretty far. This is okay as long as you angle it correctly, obviously. But I guess
Yeah,
you know that. Okay.
I feel like I have very good character knowledge, but it's more like fundamentals
Yeah, I think
that
it's
I need to
fine.
reinforce.
Now see here, what are your options? Using shift? Is there a possibility for you to do anything with that and go on the bad angle right now? What do you think?
Mm,
Well, you could
I
try.
don't know.
Well, let's say you use shift here. What are
It's-
your options?
I feel like I could take the window to my right.
Yeah, for example, right? And you see how this character in this character design, they actually have the floating ability. You know why? To just help you out to stay at the sharpest sideline possible to do the most damage possible while going down. So even though you would
Right.
be on, let's say I went with a shift as high as possible, I'm going down, I'm doing damage, doing damage, doing damage, and then I'm here, I'm still doing damage, and this is gonna be such a high uptime, or like let's say I'm here, yeah, it's gonna be such high uptime compared to just dropping all the time. You kind of, even the map is empty sometimes. Let's say there's literally nothing. Yeah, there is literally nothing to step on, like this sideline, this here. Then at least you take in more unexpected angles. You're literally floating in the air. And imagine how harder the life of the enemy is gonna be instead of you dropping right away. And that's why verticality is just so important. You always see that this play here, for example, if they pushed from the angle, um, or like dropping for whatever reason, they will be floating quite a lot, unless there's a lot of good hit scans, maybe Widowmaker, maybe even Winter Soldier can be something you want to be careful about. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of times when stuff happens, you can float. You can float a little bit to prolong the time you're on the angle. I just wonder when this is gonna happen. Yeah, like here. Yeah, for example, here. You see that? They're using
Yeah.
shift and they're not dropping right away. I'm prolonging my time, being the best sideline possible, and I have the best options on what I can do. I can hit here, I can hit there, I can hit there too. So constantly, just for the uptime, I'm gonna write it down to use float more, and it's gonna be that.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can always re-engage there. You kind of use your shift and you instantly escape of it to drop on the ground. I actually even encourage you can use shift more, go up more, so you can set up better position, and then after that you can float. Okay, yeah, can even use shift to go up more. All of that I'm writing down. I'm gonna send you in the summary. By the way, there's gonna be a list, and you can add that. You can maybe add some other stuff too. But yeah. Okay. Do you
Thank
have
you.
any questions about that? By the way.
I don't think so. I believe
Okay.
you're explaining this all very well in a way I can understand and
Okay.
use it
Perfect.
myself.
Perfect. Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, I think it would be really annoying if you have this time. I think especially during the downtime, for whatever reason you guys are regrouping, just move somewhere. What do you think? What are your options right now? You guys been regrouping. Okay, fine. You want to do damage, but have the best sideline possible. The lone sideline. What are your options? Well, we mentioned about the shift. Let's say we're here on the low ground. What are your options right now? Maybe if we're not taking advantage of the shift. Let's say, where could you go?
I could go up the stairs.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah, go
yeah.
stairs here. I say this is a really good sideline, it feels. And you do the same amount of damage anyway. I think there's been no
Right.
nerf in the damage, right? They still do full damage at any sideline too, right? Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be okay, and just controlling this map, you making it harder for the backline to exist. Just push them back constantly. Get around the Doctor Strange shield. You need to do damage. It's not. Do not break the Doctor Strange shield. Just go around it. Yeah, like I'm here. This is gonna be really annoying. You can set up your squids too. Put one on the wall. Maybe here. Maybe you can think about something. I don't know. It can be creative. I think your squid's been okay. Just make sure you set up yourself first. You can always think about the options. Maybe here, there. I don't know. Like this. This is really good if you can set up them separately.
I love these 4 columns on this map
Oh yeah.
around the objective.
This is really annoying, definitely, for anybody to cross. If you're able to set up your squids, I think this is so good. Yeah, shift. Yeah, I actually took the high ground. This is what you want to do more. Yeah, take the high ground, take the good lane, and make sure you move on that. Yeah, and keep rushing from there. Yeah. If it's really needed, if you have big advantage, you can drop. Like, maybe there's a kill opportunity drop. You want to push these guys here? Okay, you can also drop. And then after that, you will be thinking about the setup. Yeah, especially this map is definitely not bad for sure. Compared to the first map too. This is much more open, to be honest. Okay, searching for them. This is
Spider-Man just scared me.
yeah, this is the time you can use to just poke somehow. You need to think, like we said about that time. Even here is not bad. Just make sure you're ready to rotate. Like your option can be, let's say I start here, they coming out of the spawn, then I move towards the left, then I open the sideline here. Obviously be aware of the Spider-Man, you probably will poke them as well. Ideally want to do all of that all together. Yeah, this sideline, not sure which one I like. I don't know, you have to test it. I usually like
Yeah.
verticality more with the Namor, but look at the situations exactly. Deal a vertical off angles with a long sideline. It's gonna be okay. Oh, all right. Well, we mentioned quite a lot actually, and yeah, we're almost through the entire replay too. I don't know. Is there anything you have questions about even more? Just anything what you want to know a little bit more?
Um, Outside of taking positioning, is there something else I could do or work on?
Right
Like,
now, I
yeah.
would start with position because okay, there might be other there are dozens of things everyone can work on, right? It's just the way
Right.
I like to structure. Usually, once you've worked on this stuff, I would probably move towards something else. This is where it can be more related to decisions. Probably could be better theme to start with. It's just how do you anticipate certain stuff? How do you also play around the cooldowns, the stuff you worked on, the ultimates, even tempo stuff, just knowing, okay, what can I do? If we have an advantage, disadvantage, how do I use that? And team compositions can also be the one. Once you the higher rank, for sure, this can be the good stuff to work on. stuff like that. But definitely start with this first. We actually let's summarize actually what we went over regarding your positioning. You can tell me what you understood so far, and then we can think what we can work on going forward. What are your thoughts? What did you
Uh,
learn today? Yeah.
Taking the sharper sight lines and moving in a sense of always having that sharp sight line and moving like left to right, kind of like a little dance
Hmm.
with the enemy team in their current position. Uh, Damage up time. I
How
feel
do
like
you?
it's mainly sharp sight lines that
Mhm.
is my big takeaway.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest one is always sharp sight lines if possible. Trying to maintain more long range or mid range sight line. I'm gonna put it this way: a long mid range, and also keep in mind that you can use your shift to set up, but make sure you have it when the fight starts. Usually, during the fight, it's okay to use both shift to just not only stay in the bubble, like try to dodge something, but also try to set up afterwards. Just keep that in mind. It's about your verticality. I think it's really good if you are thinking, in addition to like how you take the off angle, it's just good to think alongside, because when you're in a verticality somewhere on the high ground, it's also an off angle in a way. So if it allows you to have long sideline, you usually want to be there to using your float more as well for uptime. Just because we're not instant dropping, makes it easy. Yeah, you just float more.
Do you
Mhm.
do you think with the Namor I should play more in the side lanes?
Uh, yeah, definitely, and that's why even flanking sometimes can work too, depending on the map. But as long as those are gonna be long mid-range sidelines, and you sync it with your team, just they are in, you are in as well. This is gonna be good. You probably saw maybe some of the Namor, some of the videos, flanking Namor, whatever they do that. But why? It's possible because you have a lot of burst, so you have a lot of damage threat, damage potential, can instantly kill something, and because you're the safe position, like relatively the range is good for you, you can take advantage of that. That's
Yeah.
fine. You don't have to play in the back line like on the main. This is what it feels so far. We're kind of moving the main lane a lot, playing with your support, with your backline. You don't want to do that. Actually, it's making it not as good for your support when you play with them, because divers can target both of you and support. But if you play separately within line of sight of the support, it's gonna be okay. So in Syria, I can be anywhere. I can, let's say I'm controlling this map, my support is here. I can be even there. And this is okay. My supports can see me, I can see them, and still can deny the dive too. Yeah, it's just an example, right? But that would be kind of extreme angle here if my team is there. Yeah, it's more of a like flank angle. Still works as long as it's that long sideline, and you know that it's a good off angle verticality. I think really good most of the time. And this
Yeah.
is what I think. All right,
I
so
was having
mhm.
a really good time with flanking Namor into plat. And then as I more reached diamond, I was like, okay, I'm struggling a bit on where I need to be. Because everyone was just catching me out on the flank pretty
Mm,
consistently.
yeah, it would be interesting to see as well when you do that, see like why this happens, because it's not necessarily that flanking itself is bad. There's maybe the quality of the angle you take and the timing, just when you engage. So that is something what I would probably go over as well alongside, because we went over positioning, maybe just how to control the angle as the best possible way. Yeah, how to stay there for as long as possible. Well, we probably should mention make sure you move in the lane a little bit more, but there's also other stuff which we can go over. It's maybe can be how you use cover, how do you manage resources of your team, resources of the map, and exactly timing. I think that would be good to go over later on Stuff like that. And obviously, if there are going to be any questions later, you can always send me those. You can even send me timestamps with the questions. It's all possible. And just ask me, for
Okay.
example, here, well, let's say 10:09. What do you think? What is the best angle for me to take? I can answer this question. It's okay. You can send it to me. I will answer when I have time. And this summary, you can take advantage of that too. I will send it to you. I think, what else? Oh yeah, about going forward. Well, I mentioned the seams, and regarding the summary, there's actually a section you can scroll down once I send you the doc. There is a section where you can just place your thoughts on what you worked on, what you applied, what you do well, what you struggle with, and we can go based off that too. We can adjust what do you need to work on going forward. This is how it usually works. Okay?
Okay.